Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Bonjour.
All right, this is an emergency. I was just about to fill up my drink, my ice water for tonight, and it dropped on my tile floor. And you know what this is?
This is our cup?
Oh.
It's Jungkook's tumbler. So I need whoever in the comments, whoever does like plastic tumbler, like is it Amazon? I have no idea. I just did it like 2 minutes ago.
Doctor in the house?
Is there
Christina,
a tumbler
I
doctor?
have an extra one I can send you if you need one.
Oh, that's sweet. I feel like though, because I feel like this is probably pretty common, this insert tumbler design. So I feel like I should be able to go on Amazon and like get a replacement pretty easily, but it's cracked all the hell on the lid and I was devastated. Anyways.
I also have blank cups from the Kansas City trip that we put that stuff in. So I can send you one of those if you need it.
I feel like you can put it in your cup.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, because this is just, it's not acceptable.
Yeah. We can fix it.
So
yeah.
You gotta be able to put a straw in a cookie and drink out of him.
I know. God.
Not acceptable. Not acceptable. Even broken.
And on Golden's 1 year anniversary.
In which cup are you going to put your banana milk now?
Yeah, exactly. It's just not cool.
Oh man.
You need a cup for your banana milk. Come on.
I know, right?
How's everybody doing on this Sunday?
Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Good.
I hesitate. Stephanie and I were having a very interesting conversation earlier today.
Oh boy.
And I was just like, it was a little bit of an imagine if conversation. And we were talking about, recreational activities that one can pursue if one wishes to reach a heightened sense of enlightenment. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I got no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means.
I have a slight idea
have
what
that
you're
explained to me.
about.
I have to have that explained to me in toddler English because I have no idea.
We just thought it would make it very interesting live if we all did so.
Very mindful, very demure. Yes, indeed. And we sort of got on the topic of like, what if we arrived at the live, our weekly scheduled TikTok live, all of us in a heightened state of enlightenment.
Yes.
I was like, imagine these bitches are already mad because we talk over each other. Imagine if.
I feel like I'm trying to decide whether or not. So we got a comment on our YouTube video, just for everybody who's in the live right now, so we can explain. We got a comment on one of our YouTube videos. Why are you all talking over each other? And I couldn't decide if it was like supposed to be a troll comment, like a dig,
right?
Or if it was somebody legitimately asking why we talk over each other, because it's a problem that we have addressed. We know we work on it. So yeah, I ended up responding to the person and I was like, you know what? I can't always just assume troll. Maybe they're legitimately asking.
Right.
So I went ahead and said, you know what? You're right. We're working on it. But come to the next live and see if we do better.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? You know what's really funny, Christina, is you know how like when you guys were doing the Halloween party, I was still at work. So I'm sitting in the pod at work and you had said that we got that YouTube comment and my MA walks in at that exact moment and without missing a beat, he goes, that's because all y'all are high def, which is what we call ADHD. He's like, it's that ADHD. You just can't help yourselves. It just is. It's just a fact. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. And I was laughing. I fucking snorted right there in the corner.
The brain starts rolling and you can't stop sometimes.
Plus there's lag. When we think on our end, we're no longer talking over each other. When we see the recording at the end, we are.
Yeah.
because we all lag at different speeds. So
Yeah, the
And-
lag's bad.
We get
Yeah, we got that
excited,
high
yo.
gas.
Excited.
Excited?
We
What?
do get excited.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
this is
Excited
true.
because we're talking about BTS shit and it's exciting.
We're talking about all 7 of them
All of them, all the time,
All the time.
constantly.
constantly.
Paraphrasing just said lahagging.
Lag.
We have a hat that says lag.
I'm hurting you.
I'm writing that down.
I don't know that it would be proper use of the apostrophe though. I think we might actually have to go with the LE for lahagging.
Oh, that's hysterical. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's really funny.
French nerd moment.
Paraphrasing has come up with some really good ones in the past, right?
I
Really
know.
has.
Yeah.
On fire. On fire.
Goading since the beginning. I'm yelling because I want to, Colette.
I'm shouting. I'm shouting.
I'm shouting.
Yeah, I'm so very excited.
I'm shouting.
She's too excited about lagging.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing ever.
If anyone else wants any dramatic recreations of lines from the movie Clue, I'll be here for approximately 53 more minutes.
No, this is a longer live, Quince. You got an hour and 53 minutes.
For an hour and 53 minutes.
You know what? The butler from Clue, the devil from Legend,
I mean, Tim Curry.
and Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like that man.
Further.
That man is
Tim Curry.
Something else.
Everybody give it up for Tim Curry, man.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry. There we go.
More practice.
Anyways, so
He looks
So-
really good in garters.
so the comments. Anyways, my point being is
Anyway.
we read every comment that we get on socials, and you know we don't want to assume malice when it could just be a legit question.
Right.
We don't ever want to assume malice. You know,
Although there
unless you
usually
really
are
are
malice.
telling us to go fuck ourselves, because we have gotten those too. And in that case,
you just kind of, even if you're saying it like nice, if you're not a friend of ours,
nice.
then
You say it with an emoji. You say it with a little heart at the end.
listen, if you're a friend of ours, then we assume go fuck yourself as you telling us how much you love us. So
True.
that's our love language right there.
Right. But if you're a complete stranger and you just joined the social media app that you're using to make that comment
Just
2 days ago,
Yeah.
we're going to assume malice.
You
Not
doing
if that's ever happened, but
No. You can check those things in social media. When you join, how many followers you have.
Yeah, that information is Publix.
Well, and you know what's funny though is the TikTok ones, the ones that come from TikTok, they always have private accounts. And I'm like, what's the matter, boo? Put your
You know what
face
I-
on there. Say
you
it
know
with
what
your
I-
whole chest.
What I really love is when these private accounts that only have like very few people on them have the audacity to go out with their whole chest and scream and bitch at how Army need to do better about promoting members.
Whoever. Yeah.
But your account is private with like 20 people. So
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
how are you promoting
What are you
the
promoting?
members and telling people to go buy their albums and photo books and all this other stuff? Like, how are you doing it? Because your account is private with 20 followers, so I don't think you're doing
Listen.
anything.
Hi, Cotton.
Listen, you don't need to be a doctor to come up with that brilliant logic.
You don't need to be. Sometimes it helps.
Some logic is just obvious.
Oh my God.
Oh, hi from Ireland. Hi.
Duh. You know?
Oh my gosh. Anyways, all right.
I
I'm
received
in a
a
channel.
package
I'm
from Ireland today.
Katie, and we're going to look at the agenda since we're 10 minutes in, more than 10 minutes in.
Oh, yes. Katie will not be joining us this fine evening, friends.
No, she won't. That's
She's
okay.
not feeling well.
In case you
Yeah,
don't
we know
know
why.
that.
We all
She's
know
here. She's here in spirit.
why. Maybe not even that.
Wake up, Connie.
Well, let's just put it this way. If we can do this right and keep on the agenda and not screw anything up, then she's here in spirit. If we fuck
Yeah.
this all up, then no, we don't have Katie spirit.
You should leave enough notes in the comments.
Now, see, now the question is, can we do the Patreon shout out without?
No, we
Kate?
cannot.
Cannot, absolutely cannot.
No, we can't.
Why? Because
we
the
can't.
link is not
Move
there.
along, move along. Just pass that one right by.
Yeah.
Where is
Yeah.
the link gone?
I don't know.
Yep. But
You
we
know,
will.
the shout out goes like this: Patreon people, we love you.
We really do.
We don't necessarily know who you are, but we do love you.
We adore you.
Do know.
Well, I mean, like the new ones, like for the last couple of days. I don't know. You know, we don't know.
Are there new ones? I don't think there are any new ones.
I think there's
Oh,
a
there
couple
are?
of new ones.
I think there are a couple of new ones. Yeah.
Well, shit. Now I feel like crap.
Yeah, we do appreciate you. We do appreciate you very much.
love you,
People,
baby.
we love you. When Katie's back, she will probably say your
tell
name.
you.
But right now, we don't have them.
You
Yeah.
will get the kudos that you deserve, but
Yes.
just know that we appreciate the hell out of you.
Right
Yes.
now,
Know that.
we're the kudos you're getting,
Yeah.
not the kudos you deserve.
Maybe the kudo you deserve, but
We will get the kudos you deserve next week when Katie's back and knows how to access the name list.
we're already off the rails.
We love you.
That's what happens.
We love you all.
Hey, you know what though? You know what we can talk about is merch. And you want to see something cool?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Show us. Show us.
Yes.
Make
Oh my
this
God.
Are you ready for it?
a big.
It's just in time.
Da-na-na.
Look at how good he looks. Look at how good he
Just
looks.
in time for November.
June is live in the shop, everybody. Make some noise for June
Namjoon
and
Retro
November.
Series.
Yep.
Just fine. Yes, November.
Namjoon is out.
I ordered my
He is
print.
up.
It was perfect.
You can
Shells
buy
is like,
him.
click.
You can buy
Belle
him
says
a
that's her
unisex
husband.
shirt, a women's shirt, a mug.
Notebook. Yep.
Yeah. It's
So-
really good. It's really good. I think it's, I don't know. I hesitate to say the best one yet because I love them all.
You know what?
But it's
If
definitely
you-
the one that was labored on the most so far.
It really was. And I'm not saying that it was because it necessarily needed it, because I had some serious, sometimes I get creative brain blocks, and Namjoon was really just, he was giving me some
Sometimes
trouble.
When we're creating, we get in our own way.
Yes.
No matter what it is, art,
Yeah.
writing, whatever, crafting,
Yeah.
sometimes you get in your own way.
Oh,
Yeah.
this question right here. What's the difference with the women's shirt? So the unisex shirt is a little bit longer and it's a little boxier, whereas the women's is more of a women's fit, meaning it kind of curves in a little bit at the waist and it's a little shorter. So I believe Katie and Quince only buy the women's relaxed ones.
It's a different shirt, but I'm currently wearing a women's cut. So like I'm really short. And so the normal shirts go like here on me.
Yeah, I buy the women's cut shirts.
She's Thumbelina.
I'm not wearing one right now, but
So Namjoon's up, and then Katie and I are working very, very hard to do some holiday shop merch, and we are also going to be running, we're going to be adding some items that every time you buy them, we will donate to UNICEF, a portion of it to UNICEF, because that's the right thing to do around the
everything
holidays.
in our holiday shop is going to be donation adjacent.
Yes. So that'll be fun. So that'll be cool, and we'll have those separated out for you. So in case you do want to specifically purchase something that will also donate to UNICEF, that it's easy to find.
Yes.
And as always, proceeds of all the merch that we sell goes towards keeping the lights on for the project.
Yep.
And we appreciate you. So there we go.
Well done.
Alrighty.
Here we
As
go.
always,
Okay.
on Sundays we're more discussion based. So Wednesdays is our news time where we do big chunk of the news, and our midweek tea. Sunday was we kind of like speed through the news because we're more discussion based now on Sundays. So We're gonna rapid fire through this bullshit.
Rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Fire news.
Okay. Jen. Jin. I'll be there is out. And I think it's just like it in everybody's brains. Like we can't stop singing it. It's basically from what I can tell. Like I hear it everywhere I go. I love it. I have it streaming on my YouTube list. I have it streaming on my Spotify. Like I love it.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
It gets better every time. Yeah, like you said, it gets better every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so happy.
It also hits me more every time I hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an arrow directly to my especially when I look at the lyrics as I'm listening to it, it hits really hard every time it gets to the line that I'll stay the same. I'll be there for you, and then I swear I'll always sing for you. It's just like cool.
Sold. Yeah, we'll take it. It's like in that first line that you said, that I'll stay the same. It's like he knew he intentionally wanted to answer the question that everybody was asking, which is, will he come back changed at all? Yeah. And he's like, nope, still the same person.
Yeah. And now go back and watch the astronaut music video and feel the extra feels, because at the end, when the ship goes away, he decides to stay and come back.
He stays
and
with us.
You're like, wow, he just keeps saying that sentiment over and over again, I guess, until we get it through our thick skulls that he means it.
I mean, I think that those of us who it matters for do get it. People who don't get it, they're not really not really the ones that he's talking to,
Yeah.
They're not listening.
No,
because
they
don't
don't.
listen.
How about you guys? What did you guys think about him coming out the other day and asking for us to submit questions? He promised to answer many, many of them.
It felt real familiar.
So cute.
So cute. Like, I can't wait till he starts answering them to see which ones he picks. What is he, which ones is he really interested in answering?
Yeah.
It felt a lot like somebody's trying to make Jungkook mad.
Well, what was funny too is I had just started seeing a couple of tweets, people saying, just out of curiosity, does Big Hit ever do anything with their TikTok, like their official TikTok? And then 24 hours later, he came out and they put the video on TikTok. Yeah. So
that's really fun. My TikTok screwed up and I don't have the sticker on top, so I didn't get to do it the official way. So I had to just do it hashtag. But I tried to think of a question that was more about him personally than BTS and I don't know, but I was looking through them. People asked some really good ones. They really got creative, and I'm really excited to see his responses. So
that's really good.
I need to get on it.
Yeah.
Because he has told us before, don't say nonsense.
Right.
Yes.
He has told us before. So
he has don't say nonsense. We have don't make it weird. So we're basically the same.
Yeah. Same time.
Okay. And then they dumped 29 photos on Weverse. Which I'm more on, I look at the photos as they come out and I'm like, I still don't know what the hell this is going to be like. I get no concept from the concept photos.
There's 3 different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever album has the pink, that's the one.
The office worker, man.
I know,
right?
That office worker.
I want to work in that office.
I do too.
Can I send an application and work in that office? I want to work in that office.
Is it the same one that RM works at when in his music video?
Can we all
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then real quick, we have the visual clip 2 releases scheduled for tomorrow.
Yes.
And then the highlight medley is scheduled for Friday, November 9th. So not far away. It's just moving right along. Moving right along.
For the highlight medley.
So
I know.
We can have a sneak glimpse into all the songs. It's gonna be good.
yeah.
Oh man.
I actually haven't even had a chance to look at all the photos yet because I've been deep in the blog today. And I feel like I'm about to kill myself by pulling up my Weverse right now.
It's murder. I woke up to a Weverse notification and went, please don't tell me I missed Jane going live. And I had a mini panic, and then it was these 29 glorious, beautiful images. And I both breathed a sigh of relief and then choked a little. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say was I did some shopping today.
Awesome.
Yes.
And one of those is going to be mine. We will do a giveaway for. So
Amazing.
let's get excited.
Amazing.
I don't know which one I want though.
Perhaps for our I assume we're doing an album release party. Maybe I'm speaking too soon.
I mean, we have to.
We always do. We just haven't planned it.
We
Yeah.
haven't planned it yet, but we'll be doing it.
We'll do it.
We
So
are.
perhaps we'll do a giveaway for our album release party.
Yep.
Yeah,
that.
that's the perfect time.
Patricia,
Depends on
you're up.
how fast it gets to
I'm
me.
next. Let's go with our leader, RM, Mr. Kim. Megan Thee Stallion's Never Played, featuring RM, has now surpassed over 100 million streams on Spotify.
Well done.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 100 million.
Way to go, Jen.
1, 2, 3, 4,
6, 7, 8.
7, 8.
Up to 100.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
These are nice and devastating.
Christina.
So let's move to Yoongi.
That was quick, huh?
Yoongi.
D-Day, the album, is close to 1.1 billion streams.
Wow.
I stream the hell out of that thing. It is on my angry rap line playlist. I love it.
I've listened to that album a ridiculous amount
So
of
many
times.
times. I think I'm 0.1 billion of that.
Yes.
Oh,
So if you enjoy, I would say D-Day is a fun one. Mix it up in there with your I'll Be There.
Yeah.
And then just go from I'll Be There by Jin to, Hiccup.
Yeah.
Just enjoy that little emotional jump.
that little seesaw, as it were.
Yep.
Enjoy that. All right.
It's
Jack
fun.
up.
It's fun. J-Hope!
Up.
So the question of the week is, where is J-Hope? We know he landed in LA a week ago. And we ain't heard not but the sound of crickets singing since then.
We ain't heard shit.
Nothing.
So the theories are abounding everywhere. We know he's cooking up something. We don't know what it be, but we know he's been in LA for a fucking week and ain't been seen or heard of during that time. So where in the world is J-Hope is the current game of the universe, and nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
We don't know. So
I hope it's Hope on the Street Volume 2. I'm waiting.
I do too. And P-Dog was spotted in the airport with him. So
I mean, music seems to be happening.
Yep.
Music is
we
happening.
know he's doing something. So it's exciting.
Got to be doing something.
I mean, not even a live, not even a picture, not even a hey, nothing.
He's
Cricket.
Top secret. Top secret.
We're hearing the sound of crickets. You know what the problem it probably is as far as going live or something is he probably can't trust himself not to spoil the shit out of whatever he's doing because he's excited about
That's
it. So
true.
it's like
Or he's done something with his hair or something like that where he can't give something away or
which we would all appreciate. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
Moment with the ears. Give us a mini moment if you did something with your hair. With the ears.
That's a really good point.
Whatever it is he's done and doing, curiosity is abounding, and so joy. All right, next up, Jim and She. We have some fun stuff with him. BTS Japan official posted today that they are doing a Hive Insight Jimin exhibition, The Truth Untold in Japan. Look at that. This is the picture that they posted with it. This is happening January 10th to February 16th of 2025. Look at him. Anyway, so that's exciting news. That went out today on the Japan official channel. Jimin was also the most streamed K-pop act in Spotify in October of 2024.
Jimin. Yes, Jimin. Yes.
And he's early in October, y'all.
Look at him. He's just so cute. I was going to make it seem
Let him go.
so cute. All right, and who is the fastest solo song by a Korean K-pop soloist and the sixth fastest song in history to reach 900 million Spotify streams?
900 million.
That is a number that is mind-blowing.
That is
Yes.
crazy.
Jimin.
Yes.
Killing it.
He's killing it. He really is.
Good job, Jimin.
Moving right along, Footloose and Fancy Free.
Mm-hmm.
Taehyung, which, by the way, I received some devastation in the mail today from some of our wonderful 529 line. I was very kindly sent the layover vinyl, which I did not have.
Oh,
that's amazing.
And it included such devastation. Because
I'm fine. Don't worry about my noise.
That's amazing.
Ooh.
Rude.
oh God.
All the time is out.
He's so cute.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
And this was an add-on that was also sent to me.
Oh,
Goodness.
Yeah. So
I love
thank
it.
you, Mary. Thank you, Vivi.
Sweet.
So Tahani, Love Me Again has surpassed 910 million streams on Spotify. They just out here breaking records, man.
Numbers is all.
Breaking their own records.
And speaking of layover, it is now the longest charting Korean album by a soloist on the worldwide music album chart.
Wow. Taehyung.
Longest charting.
I mean, I'm not smart enough to figure out like all these different things. I need like a graph that shows photos of like, this is this one and it does this, and this is this one, and it's the longest in this, and so I can see it.
This one does this. This one does this.
Yeah.
Basically, the graph is just an upward angle.
Yeah.
It's really what
Yeah.
it boils
Pretty
down
much.
to.
Yep.
Keeps on climbing. That's what the graph looks
Keeps going up.
Indeed. Last but not least, our magne, Jungkook.
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 By the way,
We say that wrong apparently as a group.
one day we'll learn to say it right. Actually, I'm saying it fairly accurately right now, currently. So
Jungkook.
everyone can just.
That was another great comment we got on YouTube. We get some real winners over there.
Those accents don't exist, guys.
Yeah.
Accents, they
So
don't
for
exist.
JK, it is the 1 year anniversary of Golden, you guys.
It's a boy.
Yes.
It has become the first album by a K-pop soloist to spend 1 year on the Spotify weekly top albums global charts.
Woohoo.
Whole year. It's just been there, hanging out, having fun. It's a party.
Having fun, being amazing. You know what I did? I left my review because I forget to do this. But when you buy the album on the digital platform, go in and leave a review. Because Golden, the review on iTunes, only had like 35 reviews. And I'm like, I know more US people bought Golden on iTunes.
Of course.
So go and leave a review. Yeah, I just remembered to do that today. So
Yep. And Standing Next to You has become the fastest solo song by a K-pop soloist to reach 1 billion streams in Spotify history.
Spotify history. Woo! That is my 9-year-old son's get up and go to school song. That's the song that we always have on our
Great choice.
morning drive playlist.
There's
Nice.
such a-
That's an amazing effing song.
Yep.
That is, I think it's probably my favorite song on the album.
Mm.
It might be tied. It might be tied for first with another song.
Okay, so for those that need the graph, what we just basically said was JK Standing next to you is the fastest to reach 1 billion on Spotify. But then who is the fastest to hit 900 million on Spotify?
Yes.
So we need little magnets with their
That's what,
faces on them and
yes,
like
move them,
keep, like ticking them up.
Too
Yeah.
complicated. Too complicated. Let's just let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Too complicated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I like spreadsheets and shit, but that's a lot of diagramming.
Yeah.
right there.
It is in my head.
You know
We
what?
ain't got time for that around here. We ain't got time
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Busy making other kinds of spreadsheets.
You know what I like doing though? I'll show you what I like doing. When I'm playing on my, oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. When I'm playing Spotify on my desktop, I like to go look at the songs and how many plays they have. And then I make sure I play the songs with the lowest plays. So
Look
like
at you.
right now,
look at
Yes or
you.
No, which is a fantastic song,
Love that song.
is kind of low in plays. So, and Closer to You is low in play. So yeah, I play a little game like that where I go in
love
and
that song.
That's a cute thing.
so pop everything up. If it's got low plays, pop it up. That's my opinion.
Being a fan is a full-time job.
That's a good tip for anything you're listening to.
Yeah.
Just pop it up.
Any particular BTS album you might be listening to.
Pop it up. Like for example, 7 featuring Lotto, the explicit version, has 2 billion streams. Okay? It's a great song. But play Yes or No right after it. Do me that favor. All right, thank you.
I'm just saying the message is slightly different.
People
It's
like
true.
to hear JK saying particular words. What can you say?
understand.
I mean,
Listen,
they do.
when I saw the 2 billion
With
next to
passion.
that song, I was like, of course.
got it. Yeah.
Of course
Totally
that
makes
song has
sense.
been played
Of course.
2 billion times.
See, like I'm a full album kind of person, so unless I'm on a streaming playlist that's specifically designed to stream a particular song or album, I will play, like if I'm going to listen to any song on Golden, I will listen to the whole album because that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
You know what? That was my question actually for the Ask Jin for the TikTok. Because you know how RM will tell us, like, please listen to the album in order because it's a story. So my question to Jin was, is your album the same, or on first listen can we mix everything up? Like, I was
Good
really
question.
curious. So that was the question that I had for him.
That is a good question.
Because because RM tells us listen to
Because
listen
even
to it in order.
EPs, even smaller, shorter album EPs can be the same because Taehyung told us to listen to his in the order that he put it in.
Right.
Well, I know that's why, like, sometimes, like, early on when Spotify and streaming services came out, like, Garth Brooks wouldn't let his music on them because they weren't going to do the full album, and he wanted everybody to hear a full album in order.
Oh, I see.
I always feel like any artist who presents their album presents it with a particular story in mind or a particular plan in mind.
Well, a lot of people aren't making this is something that I think we've touched on recently, and I've heard a lot of people talking about it recently, and how, like, in recent years, like, artists weren't making albums, like people weren't making like full concept albums really like they used to, because everything is so streaming based, and people and music companies know that people hit shuffle. They put a playlist on and they hit shuffle, which, I mean, I do it. I'm sure we all do it sometimes, and a lot of times. And so the concept of the album became far less important than like singles. And
I see.
it's only like recently that artists are kind of starting to try to get back to that idea of the, even Beyonce was talking about this with that country album she just released. Like, she was like, I'm doing this because it is a format that needs to still exist. And this is something that I've never done before. So I'm trying this new thing because I want people to pay attention to it, and I want people to still appreciate the art form of the album.
It's like reading a novel in the chapters out of order.
Yeah,
I mean, they're trying to tell a story through the way that they've laid it out, and we're reading it out of order if we don't read it, you know.
Right.
It's the most profound thing I'm going to say tonight, just for the record.
Write it down, Leslie. Timestamp it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's it. That's all I got.
That's funny.
The news in record time. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
We're winning, guys.
Katie will be so proud. Okay.
J-Hope is still in the U.S. right now. We have not heard anything about him.
He's here in spirit.
Did somebody ask? Oh, yeah. We've not seen him go anywhere else unless he's on the down low somewhere.
So, like, could he be secretly traveling somewhere else, potentially? But he's not been seen in an airport other than when he landed in LA.
Yeah.
Yep. I know.
I have to go to Manhattan on Wednesday. I'll look around.
Look for him.
Yeah,
Go to that street and see if he's there again.
Go to his street and just see if he's hanging out.
Yeah.
I'll just go like around with my eyes peeled to see if I see.
Yeah.
Patricia's got her coffee. She's just walking that New York way, just head down, and boom, into J-Hope. Latte everywhere.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
This isn't the Hallmark movie,
I
but
would kind of love that.
He would be like, "Sorry, Army."
I know.
Shut up! Oh my God, I'm done.
And then he would show you how to wash the coffee out of your.
Young man.
And he would be like,
That's the thing that I'm going to tell him. Like, if I run into him, I would go like, young man.
Yep.
oh,
He's like, oh, chick,
boy.
I'm doing laundry.
You know what? You say that, but let me tell you something, what it's like to have 2 heartbeats worth of eye contact with one of them.
And you're great for that. I'm just saying.
It's amazing.
Anyway.
She's living her dream. Living a dream.
You really are.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Are we ready?
authenticity, let's do it.
Authenticity. Okay. So this week's blog was I'm having to remind myself.
Girl, you and me both, and I wrote it.
I know. I'm like, okay, remind yourself, because it's like when we come in on Sunday night to do the live, we've already all done the thing for the next week. So
Yes.
our minds are next week, even though we're still in the last week. Anyway, so we listened to unfiltered demos from the guys, and last week. And one of the things I thought was really profound about that is they've just shown from day one, no matter what it is they're doing, whether it's going on lives, putting themselves out there, putting out these demos, basically, the authenticity that these guys have shown basically from day one, which I think most of us think, is one of the reasons they are so beloved by billions of people on the planet, right? Like, you can just tell if people are real or whether they're not. And so I kind of wanted to have a conversation about that tonight. And put it in perspective of the whole kind of paving the way thing, because since they had to fight for every second of attention early on, we got this from them. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that with everybody and kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it.
I love it too. And I especially love it when talking about authenticity, because that means that there will be some times where you are not looking your best or feeling your best or saying the best things possible. And in the realm of K-pop, I think that's somewhat of a strange concept, because in the realm of K-pop, it is very much about the visual that you are presenting and as close to perfection as possible.
Yeah.
So to think that you would then come on camera, seemingly unscripted, without hair and makeup to perfection, and just talk to your audience, I wonder for them, like, would that be even scarier for them, given the environment that they were in? Because I can go on, because I don't give a shit. I can go on with my hair in a bun and no makeup and whatever, but I am not a K-pop star. And so I can imagine how risky that was, in other words. So I just want to give kudos to them for even risking going on and being themselves. And especially when, let's be so for real, they were what, 18, 16
Younger.
years old.
See,
You know all the dumb shit you think and say when you're that age. Oh my gosh.
And they said some of it. Sometimes
I mean, they said
some
some of it. I mean, they
Yeah.
did say some of it, but at the same time, just like you got to see their personalities and you got to just, you can feel like, I don't know, this is going to sound like freaking cheesy, but you can feel like the goodness coming out of them as they're, and I know that sounds stupid, but I can't explain it any other way. You could
Do
just
you feel
tell.
like it was a we have nothing to lose type thing? Or do you think this was like actually like somebody had a brilliant thought and was like, you know what, get yourself out there? Like, what do you think like the
I mean, if you're asking me, I think they very much had a lot to lose because they did not start off as the favored horses in the race. Now, did they?
Right.
I mean, I think it's kind of 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, because a lot to lose was also very little to lose.
Right.
Since, they weren't
Since the
starting
expectations weren't so high.
We're so low. Yeah. They were so
Right.
low. Yeah.
and the company was at the border of bankruptcy too. So I mean, there was nothing to lose because there was nothing to win either.
Yeah. And
That's a
so
good
I
point.
think there was a lot of, I think it was, I feel kind of like BTS was Big Hit's like Hail Mary play. They had other groups. They had other artists at the time. Some of them had done okay. And some of them not really. They had like just debuted a girl group, or they just debuted a girl group while the members of BTS were still trainees. And I talk about that a little bit in next week's blog. But and they had a couple of other acts, and some of them were pretty decent, but they weren't like really getting any traction. And so like they knew that they needed something. And I think that it was probably a combination of YouTube taking off and like social media and the internet becoming more of a thing, and the company probably encouraging them to get themselves out there. Like, let people see you. Let's build momentum before. Because they knew that they were going to be debuting this group, that they were a smaller company, and historically, like, groups from smaller companies don't get as much exposure. And so they were trying to get any kind of leg up that they could. So I think it was a combination of those things, because YouTube started in like, what was it, like 2005, 2006, 7, somewhere in there. So it was just kind of like the 2010s is when it was like really taking off. And so
YouTube was launched to the public on December 15th, 2005.
You were close.
impressive.
Fine.
The very first video was uploaded on April 23rd, 2005 by the co-founder, but then it became public on December 15th. So very good.
So yeah, I think that it was a combination of that. I think that like Big Hit was like, all right, let's just put everything into this and see what we can do. Because the other things that they had going on weren't working out the way that they thought they were.
Right, and they didn't know how BTS were going to be treated necessarily when they started their social media journey, because they were on Twitter, they were on YouTube, they were on Fan Cafe, they were out there doing the social media pre-debut, and so they didn't do it in reaction to being poorly treated. They did it almost as in anticipation. Like they had seen how small groups had been, or small companies had been treated in the past. They knew the attitude towards their group, their company, from the way other groups were being, treated or received is the word I was looking for. And so it's almost like, okay, well, we need to try something completely different. Like if we can develop a fan base before they become a group, then there's almost like this core fan base that's going to help them succeed as a group.
Right.
And so they were doing their vlogs as early as December of 12. You know, they were out there on social media long before they debuted as a group, and it just kind of helped them after they debuted and then were treated poorly. Like they already had followers on their accounts, they already had some level of fan interaction going, so that then when they were treated poorly, they were able to do things like, you know, the Rookie King and the Run BTS and things like that, that kind of got them a little bit more exposure when they weren't allowed necessarily on the networks.
Right. Their first tweet, by the way, was, "What's up? We're BTS. Finally, the BTS Twitter account is officially open. Clap, clap, clap. We will be we will be uploading fun things beyond your imagination here until our debut." And then the first selfie from a member was posted on December 23rd, 2012, and it was Jin.
Oh,
So, isn't that cute?
Patricia, what do you think?
So cute.
What are your thoughts on that?
About them using social media, I think that they became social media managers before that position even existed.
That's fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like social
They
media.
really pioneered social media,
And
as
they
a
actually did it.
tool
And they
for
actually did it
developing
themselves. They probably didn't have anybody in the company telling them what to do.
right.
Not like how to do it at all. No, they had to
do it at all. And I think that they did a really good job. I mean, like, they figured it out. They broke the code somehow.
Yep.
Well, without social media, they wouldn't have had those 12 army that showed up for that first gig, you know.
That Jimin talks about all the time. That line of people that showed to their debut and that they remember so fondly. So I mean, like they broke the code. They really figured out how to be social media managers before there was even a position like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sharing, you know, the highs and the lows and the, you know, J-Hope being brutally honest about not getting the letters. I mean, all that stuff just builds such connection with people. I can't even imagine them trying to put on an act. I don't know that any of them could have done it.
If you go back and you watch those, because I was rewatching, we've been rewatching some of them for next week's vlog starting November. If you go back and you watch those like 6 months of pre-debut vlogs, like those are some of the most honest and raw, like literal like kids just sitting there talking about how they feel about what they're doing every day. And like watching Namjoon sit there, and he says, at one point, he says, I went out to lunch with my friends, or I was talking to some of my friends from the rap community, and they told me that I don't sound like I used to anymore. I sound too polished, basically. And they said, but the company tells me I need to stop thinking about them. I'm not gonna rap like them anymore. And he's like, so I'm confused. He literally just sits there and he's like, I'm confused, but I'm gonna figure it out. And he's just stream of consciousness talking and saying like what he's going through in that moment. And it's like, it's very real and honest, because like legitimately that's what he was going through at the time. He was doing this thing before Big hit, and then all of a sudden he's doing this other thing. And so he was dealing with these two camps of people, you know, and that, and he was 18.
Right.
And so,
Right.
That's
those vlogs are crazy.
and that honesty, that's showing themselves as they are. that's something that they could have stopped doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that they
Right.
still do it.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Because that's what I think has dragged a lot of us into this train.
Right.
Like you see these kids that are putting themselves out there and being very open and honest about a lot of things that are incredibly relatable. I think that, you know, I'm going to talk about a little, like, I worked in internationalization for a long time in my life. So got a big chunk of my career. And one of the things that I told, and I gave a couple of classes, and one of the things that I told people in the classes, like the things that work internationally are things that pull your strings, your heartstrings, and that are like related to your humanity.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that show that every single human being, independent of where they come from, has the same feelings and has the same problems. And that's like something that they have done masterfully by showing themselves.
Yeah.
And
It's
the crazy
relatable.
thing is that it doesn't matter how much like fame, you know, has gotten into their lives, that they are still able to go out there and put themselves out there as they are and share with us a lot. I mean, it's like more than than the majority of the famous people that are out there share.
Right.
Well, it's that kind of that weight of the authenticity. I would think, this is just me thinking in my brain. Obviously, I'm not them, but to be really truly authentic while the stakes get bigger, you know what I mean? Because they were getting more and more popular. Now everybody's hanging on every word. You're speaking to the UN, you're speaking at the White. So everything you say now carries much more weight.
Yeah.
And everything you say can be taken out of context, as we have learned, you know. And so to remain authentic while you are just like on this like literal upwards trajectory like that, the pressure of that, and I think we see it a little bit through their solo albums, like RM getting to finally speak his mind. I don't think they weren't being authentic. I think there were just things they can't share out of the unknown of how people will react. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes when you have children and you're going through stuff, you don't share everything. It's you're not being inauthentic. You're just not sharing every piece of it because you can't and you shouldn't. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing through the solo projects, you know.
Legitimately, they got to the point where they knew that they couldn't, like, in the comments I was seeing, like, you know, like in the early days, they really did like interact with Army a lot. And like they responded to everybody on Twitter. They responded to everybody in the fan cafe. They had more meet and greets. They actually got to talk to people and look them in the eyes and like shake their hands, and things like that. And it's impossible now. Impossible. They don't have the time. They don't have the means. And in a lot of cases, it's not safe. And there came a point where they realized that something had shifted and they couldn't just interact with their fans in the same way anymore.
Right.
Because of what you were saying, because everything they say is so heavily scrutinized. Anything can be taken out of context. And also meaning injected into things where there isn't necessarily meaning to be found.
Or why are you saying something about this but not saying something about that, or all the, you know.
You have to make a choice though, don't you? Because the more authentic and the more you share, the better it is for your fans, your true fans, right? But it's also all more ammo for your haters.
Right.
At the same time.
And one of the things Namjoon said in one of those early lives or vlogs, I can't remember which one it was, but he was talking about coming to the realization that his words, no matter what he intended them to be or what his meaning behind them were, he realized that his words had potential to hurt people.
Yeah.
And it was a shocking realization to him because he was like, I'm just some kid out here speaking my mind and saying how I feel and what I think and how I approach the world. And it never even crossed my mind that my feelings and my emotions and my intent could unintentionally hurt somebody. And now I have to really rethink the way I approach communication, the way I write my lyrics, the way I write things, because now I have to keep in mind that my words, regardless of intent, can hurt somebody. And I mean, you could just see his crisis in that live, where he was like, I'm sorry if I ever have said anything that hurt anybody. And I will do my best not to do that ever again. And that's part of that trajectory, that upswing, where it's like they come to realizations like, oh shit, my words can be misconstrued and cause harm. And so now they're a lot, that was kind of a shift in the way he interacted, as far as how freely he interacted, because now everything he does is under this mindset of caution, not wanting to hurt anyone.
And for cultures that you are not familiar with, like, it's one thing when it's just your own, like it's only, you're mostly just performing for South Korean people who you understand the culture, you understand language, you understand that. Now you're in every country in the world, and everybody's cultures, everybody's understandings, the languages, interpretations, everything is completely different. Like, how unsettling is that? Because what you might say very casually in one country could cause major upheaval to somebody else.
I think that's why they let their music speak for themselves so often.
But I still think that they are sometimes a little bit subversive.
Oh, they are.
Oh, totally.
They are, and they very carefully say things that probably in their own country would be considered as scandalous.
Oh, yeah.
So and they're they do it very smartly. They're just like, they don't do it on your face, but they do it. And and I think that is one of the other things that people appreciate from them. That is that they are giving a voice to things that are important to talk about, and they're putting them out there. I mean, it's like a lot of their songs are like songs about society and issues in their own country and like young people, and that's and that's part of their core. So they would never stop defending the causes that they believe in.
Well, that's why I love their diss tracks so much. I mean, you take something like Dang as a diss track and you break it down and you see like how much thought went into it. And how it's just enough of a sting, but it's so clever, and it's such a good song that you'll sing along to it without. And so they're masters of that.
And there's no insult in it. It's just work.
It's really not. It's really not. I mean, as far as like a diss track goes, it's fairly mild in terms of like where they could have gone lyrically with it. It's more just clever.
So when you look at the authenticity that they used as a group beginning, all through, the beginning, chapter 1, let's say, how is that different than per solo artist in chapter 2? Like, how did that authenticity present itself differently between the 7? Because they were all very different when it came to how they spent their time. Of course, now Jin was gone quickly, and now we're just now experiencing him. But so how do you feel like that authenticity showed itself differently, or do you feel like it did at all?
I think that it felt like new, but also a continuation of what we'd seen from them. If you watched any of their lives and their individual, especially their individual lives, where any of them were by themselves, and or any time where they were like interviewing each other about things, like when they would have album releases and they were interviewing each other and asking each other questions, because they always asked each other the questions that they wanted to be asked by other people, but so very often were not. But I think it's you can see each one's thought process through those lives and those interview questions and things like that. But then it's also new because they were discovering new things about themselves through that process of creating the music. So, but I think that each one of them still managed. They were true to themselves. Like each one of them realistically thought about what they wanted from their solo project, and everything they did was in pursuit of what they wanted and what they wanted to show to ARMY and the world. And so I think incredible authenticity. I think about, I just think about like Jimin just like trying to write those songs and just like banging his head on the table because he was stuck. But he had this vision and he knew what he wanted to do, and he didn't want to give us any less than that. And so even though it was so hard for him, he pushed through and he did it. And he wanted to show us that process. So he gave us that documentary, that production diary. And so I think that's important, especially, and that goes to like him talking about the shit that he felt during the pandemic. And he didn't have to tell us that he drank too much. He didn't have to tell us that ever. Because if you looked at him, would you have known? Not really. And so he didn't have to tell us that, but he did, because he was like, this is how I dealt with it. And it wasn't really the greatest way to do it. And so this is how I felt about it. Here you go.
Right.
Look at all of my raw emotions and everything that I was doing. Because he was like, we were all going through a time then. And maybe it might help you to know that I wasn't dealing with it in a healthy way. In case you didn't deal with it in a healthy way either, and you've been beating yourself up about it, know that I was also dealing with it in a shitty way.
But it's also like Jimin's album, when he talks about what he was doing during the pandemic and how he felt. It's also kind of an image of like a 20-year-old that wants to be out, going out with friends and doing all this stuff. And they are cooped up in a house and they cannot go out. It's like, how do you cope with that? I was just thinking about, like, he made me think about that. If I was 20 during the pandemic, I would have gone nuts. Like,
I thought about all those like elementary school kids.
Well, and not only the fact that they were cooped up, that they had prepared for months and months and months for this world tour that they were so excited about doing, and they had poured everything into that, and that was taken from them. So it's not just I'm sitting here in my house and I have to be alone. It's not only am I just sitting in my house, I'm not where I was meant to be right now, which is doing a fucking amazing thing.
Right. By the way, I would also just like to clarify again for those that are watching, that was not Quince's opinion. That was literally what Jimin said he did.
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to put that out there.
Don't come for me and be like, why are you calling him an alcoholic? I'm not.
She literally was just repeating something that Jimin said. We have to do those disclaimers now. I'm telling you.
I know, it's
I'm
ridiculous.
telling you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then you see JK. So then we have Jimin, who showed kind of what he was going through with the production diary. And then I think JK was showing us that literally by just sitting on his couch and really having no motivation in the moment to do anything but just kind of hang out with us. Right.
Those 3-hour lives consistently from him at the butt o'clock in the morning for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he told us so much about what he was thinking,
some of the most authentic, like, human behavior I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
Doing laundry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that
adorable.
time he went live in the fucking middle of the night, and he's like, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this, but what are they even going to do to me? What are they going to do to me? Are they going to fire me? I don't think they're going to fire me.
I'm JK.
I'm Jungkook. Like,
I'm JK.
I deserve to be allowed to go on live with my fans when I miss them. I deserve that. I think I've earned that right.
This was just last year.
Gamut of emotions he went through as like, I'm doing something that's never really been allowed before, or, it's something that was frowned upon to go live without telling the company or without having a plan. To just go out there in the middle of the fucking night and drink whiskey with your people and talk for hours.
Well, and to that point, I remember when he went live with that little tiny brief live he did with Mingyu from 17. Because Mingyu, they're like best friends, and Mingyu was hanging out at his house, and they were drinking and kikiing and having a good time. And JK was like, "Let's just go live." And Mingyu was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. He turned it on, and he's literally like, and he's like, "Look, here's Army. We're live."
Yeah.
And he's like,
He's
"It's
like, how
in
many
the morning, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know."
how many people?
And he's like,
how
"You
many
just do this? You didn't even tell anybody you were doing this." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I don't have to. I do what I want." And
He's like, this is just what I do. I don't tell the company I'm going
if I
live.
want to hang out with my fans when they miss me,
They're just
I can
there.
hang out with my fans when they miss me. And Mickey was like, "They're just there waiting for you." And he was like, "All around the
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, are you crazy? And he's like, this is how it should be done.
Exactly, because clearly Mingyu it had never occurred to him, or probably any member of 17, to go live when they're in their own house at ass o'clock in the morning without telling their company that they were going live. And so even though at this point in 2023, when that was happening, almost all idols go live wherever they choose, whatever platform they go live on. You know, now it is normal behavior, vlogs and lives, and they all go live and they all talk to their fans, which is great. But even last year in 2023, BTS was still kind of paving the way because nobody else, like Jungkook was just like, "I'm just going to go live at 3 a.m. and I'm going to do my laundry." And everyone will love it. And other people were like, "What?" So it's...
Well, it was powerful to know, I think, that he needed us as much as we needed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
And then other people started doing the same thing. They started going live from their bedrooms. Other idols started going live from their bedrooms at like late o'clock at night, you know, like whenever they wanted to. And so it became a thing.
I mean, 7
Right?
minutes.
Or like that time JK went live from his bedroom and he was like, I'm probably going to get in trouble. He's like, not wearing, he's like in bed. And he's like, I'm probably going to get in trouble. But see here, listen, it's like 9 o'clock here. So everybody's busy clocking in at work and nobody's paying attention to Weverse right now. So they're not even going to notice I'm on here until it's too
You
late.
know what?
It's fine.
I respect the hell out of him. You know why? Because I overthink my content constantly.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I make a video right now if I don't have something that's good to say and it's going to change some, thinking, or it's going to da-da-da. Like, I overthink it all the time. So the fact that he could just pop it on, I have so much respect for him.
But we're also not famous like he is.
Well,
so.
I understand that.
He literally could
I'm
just
saying-
turn it on and stare.
Right.
And would be like,
But he also knows
Like Tay does.
more risky for him though, because I don't have 16 million people that are going to watch me.
yeah.
Like, that's risky.
Yeah. Again, yeah. You're just like,
So
It's like
I respect
if
the
I
hell
go
out of
live
that.
at ass o'clock at night and do my laundry, maybe like 5 or 6 people will show up for that. And that's the only amount of people to see me embarrass myself or act a fool or whatever. It's vastly different if 16 million show up to watch you sleep.
watch
So
you
no, of
fold
course
your
not.
underwear.
7
Of
million
course not.
people.
I'm not as famous as him, but I mean, that's a lot of people watching you.
That's-
Lot of people. That's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure, in my opinion. But anyway,
Yeah.
There are countries that have less than 7 million people population. Just think about
right,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Weren't Army all laughing too because of the Grammys? Something we're bragging about how many watchers they had, and Army was responding back like, "Yeah, well, we had 6 million people just watching our dude sleep. So
Yep.
what's it to you?"
Yeah.
Right?
Tell us again how many people you had watching your show
Yeah,
live.
or remember when it was like 5 or 6 million of us just watched a candle and listened to snoring in the background?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even watch him sleep. We watched a fucking candle.
Put the phone down. Put the phone down. Go do some stuff. Come back. Okay, he's still good. Go.
Yeah.
But somebody research that, because I'm pretty sure there's like millions of people difference between who watched the Grammys and who watched a candle flickering with him snoring in the background.
The research has already been done.
I'm sure.
I mean,
Yeah, those
when they
numbers
were,
are already on the Twitter. Like,
I'm sure.
It's an
When they
astounding
were-
difference.
when
I'm
they
sure.
when they went to the Grammys, wasn't like the people that watched the Grammys less people than the people that went to the live after the Grammys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
There were way more people in the live after the Grammys than were actually watching them.
Yeah. And I think this is over the years, we saw them become, it's funny because we were talking about them having to be more careful, but we also saw them become more comfortable
Right.
online and things like that, because it was like a place where they could control their own narrative, and they became more comfortable in that environment, all of them, to varying degrees, you know, like what they wanted to do, but like all of them became more comfortable. And I think it's going to speak to, I think that's going to continue.
I mean, we're getting scenes in the Scoozy without stickers on them. So
Yeah. Well, and they're at that point, like you said, what are they going to do? Fire me? I mean, come
I
on.
know. That sums it up, literally.
Right,
What are they
right.
going to do? Fire me?
Right.
No.
No.
I think after
Freaking-
10 years, I've earned the right to come
Yeah.
and talk to my fans without telling the company I'm doing it.
Yeah. I love when they do that. When they're like,
Me
oh,
too.
I don't listen to,
Yeah.
I love when they do that.
What are
I
they
don't
gonna do
listen
to
to
me?
the company.
I don't listen to the
Jen, that is
company.
who Jen is. Jen's like,
Ah,
they're not
I
going to tell
love
me.
it.
so much.
Yeah.
He was doing that in back like 2018. He was like, I don't listen to the
Company.
No.
Jen
like,
has
no.
always been like, fuck the company. I don't listen to what the company says.
Jen was like, fuck the company before they were really famous.
Yeah. Jen's never given a shit about the
Rookie King Jin, who was like, fuck the company. You're going to call me a pig to my face? I'm going to tell everybody to call me a pig because I ate food.
So what do we think the transition will be then? Like, so if they've sort of paved the way in this whole being authentic, reaching us where we are, that type of thing, do we think that they will pave the way in a new way once they return? Or do we think they'll just sort of pick up where they left off? Or do you think they're way ahead of the curve and they've already figured this shit out that then now everybody else is going to catch up to again?
I think it's going to be a little bit of column A, column B. Like, I think they're going to come back and they're going to start where they left off. And I think they're going to ease us into.
I think they have a lot of things planned.
I think they're gonna be saying a lot of things that they've hinted at saying before, but they're gonna they're gonna ease us into the point where they're gonna just start saying whatever the fuck they want to say to us, and it respectfully, of course.
Right.
But like, they're gonna be honest about things that they wanted to be honest about for a long time, or they're gonna tell us things and we're just gonna have to deal with it
Right.
and
Yeah.
move forward. You know.
And I think in their musical stylings, their solo works have basically laid down the gravel lane that they will later pave with their group works. That basically says you can't hold us by genre. Genres don't exist for them. I think they are going to, like, they've also branched out of genre. Like, they've already branched drastically out of the genre they're supposed to be in. But I think they're going to take it to a totally next level where there'll be something we've never seen before, where a group is fully capable and successfully can do any fucking genre they feel like doing. And that will be a paving that I anticipate.
Please remember to tap the screen. Like,
I think the other thing though is, like, I'll be honest, I'm going to be authentic here for a moment and I'll get attacked for this, I'm sure. But, you know, I think I had my heart set on when I was kind of imagining them coming back. I'll be honest. Like, I really thought J-Hope would come back. We'd hear from him all the time. You know what I mean? I thought he would be in front of us quite often. We've not really seen him at all, to be real. I mean, other than his first live when he got back, like we saw him at the airport, that in the baseball thing, that's really it. Only official stuff. And so I do think, like, the expectation I would have thought was, and the pressure I would have thought was, I need to come back and I need to be in front of them. I've been away for a long time, so I'm going to do this. And he didn't. He's done what he feels like, obviously, he needs to do. He's doing something, and he's off the, out of sight. He's not out of mind, but which to me has really signaled I'm still who I am, but I am not going to just be there so that you see. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like he's already kind of in his own headspace a little different, and he's doing it a little different, especially different than what Army might have expected him to do. Because I think for me, I always felt like I'm your hope, you're my hope, Andre, that he would come back feeling that pressure of, I need to be there for them. And he's really obviously kind of not felt that pressure because he's not had to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to, he told us on SUGA he had a 6-month plan.
Yeah.
And he said, I have a post-discharge 6-month plan. And I think that the execution of that plan takes precedence over being in front of our faces. And so I think he's got a goal in mind for his career. He's got a goal in mind for what we hope is HOTS Volume 2, what we hope is, a lot of things. But like, he has a plan, and he's had a plan that has been put into motion since before he even enlisted. And so I think he is so much more focused on executing his set plan for his career than being a dancing monkey in front of our faces.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think Jin's looking at him and going, did you see my schedule when I got out?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you got
also,
work to do, pal.
I personally think that he is intentionally staying a little bit quiet right now too, because he doesn't want to interfere with Happy's release.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he is cognizant enough, and he's loving enough. I think he cares too much about making sure nothing he does interferes with the attention on Happy, that I think he's purposely laying low right now.
I think he's working
And
hard
working on his
on
6
whatever
month
it is he's doing. He's working hard, and he can't talk about it. Like we said earlier, probably whatever he's doing right now, he can't talk about it. And so out of sight, out of mind, sort of. I mean, even though he's not out of mind, but he has been all over Instagram a lot, which was his kind of norm before. He was all over Instagram. He's always been big on Instagram. Some of the members went live more than others before. Now, like a lot of us that became Army during like the pandemic, like Permission to Dance, all of that era, like we were used to seeing them in our face all the time because they had nothing else to do.
Right.
They wanted to be in our face all the time because they were trying to comfort us and comfort themselves by hanging out with us. And they created so much content that it was like, well, these fuckers are just always around, huh?
Yeah.
Come back, we're going to be around for it. But if you think about before the pandemic, they didn't go live all the time.
Right.
Usually went on tour.
They usually only went live when they were doing things, when they were like actively promoting on tour. They were things like they were celebrating releases, things like that.
And SUGA only went live after his, like, every night after a concert.
Yes.
For a little bit.
Not even every night. Every time he
just
finished a city.
Yeah.
So he could do 3 concerts in a city and do the last night.
So I think that like they have the pandemic and everything that happened then kind of changed them, and like they will do it more, but still I don't think it's going to be like it was then. I think they're going to. I mean, who knows about Jungkook, because we all know that he's emotionally dependent on Weverse and Army.
Right. But will that have changed now that he's been apart from it for 18 months? It could.
I mean, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe it will have changed. Who knows?
Maybe he's dying to like click on the button and
Somebody, Victoria Jimin was live this morning
every day and hovers his finger.
No.
Sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. I don't think he was live.
No.
He can't possibly have been live. He's not allowed.
He's
not
allowed.
allowed.
He's not alive.
Military.
He wasn't live. Yeah.
Alive.
Anyway, you know what? I'm going to take this moment after that little gaffe of what I just said mistakenly, because I noticed the number of people in the live went up. How's everybody doing in the audience? Have we said anything that we could explain a little bit better?
What are we going to be
Or-
accused of? Yeah.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? Because I saw the number start to tick up as soon as Stefne said, I'm going to be authentic. I saw the number go tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick.
Friend,
So,
if you get invites from somebody who claims to be a member of BTS to anything, first of all, think about the platform you're on. Second of all, they're never going to personally invite you to anything.
No.
And that's not a slight.
Unfortunately.
To you. That's that is because they do everything through the company. Because it is safer that way for them and us. And so if you get a personal invite from somebody claiming to be a member of BTS, that is a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get probably 2 or 3 SUGAs or Jungkooks a day on TikTok saying, "Hello, lovely army. I'm contacting you to say hi."
Yes.
And every
day it's like
time,
new members.
every time I have to report fraud, scam, block. So
Jimin only has an Instagram account.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
He has
And a
Instagram
Weverse account.
that official check on it, and he's never gone live on his Instagram account ever. He doesn't have
It's only Weverse. Only Weverse.
yeah. So, but I mean, it's a good question. It's a good reminder, because as the more popular they become, more people are going to try to be them. So,
Yes.
but anyways, okay, good. So all 132 of you that are in here right now, everybody's cool?
Well, here, let
Anybody got any questions?
me just clarify. I was not saying that I thought J-Hope wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Right.
Let's all just
Right.
we're just going to check in.
Not what I said. Not what I said. I said
we're just
I
gonna
was
check
hoping
in.
to see him more, but I know that he's working hard for us. That's all I was saying.
I kind of
There
just
we
brought
go,
it
there we
back
go.
to that. I think that moving forward, they're going to have this kind of hybrid. It'll be like a little bit like the way that they used to do it, but I think they're going to move forward with a total like new. Somebody had said they think they're going to be more private, and I agree with that on some levels. I think that they're going to be more honest about things that they've wanted to be honest about, but I do think that they will, at some point, they'll naturally kind of transition into doing slightly less, maybe, like they're not going to I think that's down the line. Like, I think that's way down the line. I think they still have a lot they want to do. But at some point they'll transition into doing less. And I would hazard a guess to say that they'll get more and more private as they get to that point. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. That's just my opinion.
I mean,
The way I look at it, like J-Hope right now, is if you look at the way J-Hope behaved as far as his interaction with us between, say, December and his enlistment of the year he left. We really weren't seeing him on the lives. We weren't seeing him interact with us a whole lot. But then he was on Mamas, and everybody lost their minds. But it wasn't. But then again, he seemed to disappear up until like he went live, like in that week or two leading up to his enlistment. He started going live more, and so like. But then when Hots dropped, we realized that like he literally was like filming Hots like immediately after the Mamas. Like it was like boom, and then he was jet setting everywhere, and he was filming the documentary and coming up with like the dances and doing all the songs and all of that. And the man was busy. Making sure that we got some glorious shit when he was gone. But like I know a lot of people were complaining when he disappeared, and a lot, and they were just like disappointed, I guess is a better word.
Or missed him. Yeah.
We were bummed because we missed him. We wanted to see more of him, and he just kind of vanished, much like Namjoon vanished when he was making RPWP. They just kind of disappeared, and we almost never saw them, and it was fascinating later
To look
see
back on it.
why. And so I personally take J-Hope's relative radio silence, which he's still on Instagram all the time and stuff like that. But the fact that he disappeared the last time he made a documentary, the fact that he's disappeared again, and now he goes to LA, disappears for a week, like we don't know what's happening. That to me is like serious hope that we're getting another documentary out of him, the volume 2. And he very intentionally named it volume 1. Like,
Very intentionally, volume
he was
1.
telling
Volume
us
2 is
volume
happening.
2 is happening. Future volumes, an undisclosed number of volumes are in the future, my friends, because this is just
Undisclosed.
volume 1. And so, like, the brilliance of that. So that for me is where I sit. I think part of it is he's trying not to overshadow Jin's Happy release, and part of it is the last time he went radio silent, he was filming Hot Volume 1.
Yeah.
So, I just keep that hope in mind. And Jin went silent for a little while after his release too, and it turns out he was filming the shit out of Run Jin.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
I think also, didn't he say the day that he was released in that live that he wanted to talk about things he was gonna do, but he couldn't?
Mhm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he also said that there were some things that just didn't have details yet, and so
Yeah.
he would be remiss by speaking on them because they just weren't fleshed out yet.
Right.
So,
Which, I mean, if you think about things that may not have details, he didn't have his co-host of HOTS until 3 days before they filmed episode 1. So,
Yeah.
he was like, hey, will you do this with me?
We can kind of think that those things finally, there was a plan, and that's what he's doing right
Well,
now.
didn't we see that with everybody? Like everybody, now you look back after seeing how much content they made for us. Now you look back and go, oh, well, that's why they, you know what I mean? Like it all makes sense. And I think it's sort of like it's almost like you when I'm going to give a weird example, but my dog, like when I'm home on vacation for a week, right? That dog gets used to me being there all the time. And then when I'm suddenly not there all the time, the dog's like, wait a minute, but you've set me, I'm used to you being here all the time. It's just going to be different, right? It's just going to be different. And it's all for good reasons because they're busy for us,
yeah.
I think that's
Well, you know what? I just saw a comment that said patience is Army's friend. I agree. And also
Agreed.
what they have been begging us to do and asking us to do ever since before this happened is to just trust them.
Yeah.
Trust what they say and just, have some patience because it'll all be, the anxiety sometimes gets us like, oh, I want to be able to see, I want to be able to know. And it's like, you got to calm down. Let yourself be pleasantly surprised and let it come as it needs to.
We'll be drowning in content just like we have this whole time. And we'll be like,
I mean, once Happy comes out, and then we get the RPWP in the movies, and then J-Hope starts dropping whatever the fuck he's doing right now upon us, we're going to be struggling to breathe. And we're going to be like, oh my God, it just won't stop.
Right.
I can't survive it so much. So right now,
and then what if there's a Jen documentary? And what if there's a, you know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Oh my God.
Else, you know?
If J-Hope does like an unboxing of Happy, oh my God.
Don't get my hopes up.
I know. I just
Shut your face, Christina. Shut your fucking face.
Listen,
like
Christina, and whoever the intern is at Hive on the legal department that watches us and make sure we're not messing things up. Listen, pass this message along. We need Tusok to unbox every solo album for us leading up to unboxing Happy. Like, just please.
But if not, it's cool.
The content.
Cool. You do you. You do what you want.
I mean,
I'm not your boss.
I'm just saying that
Do what you want.
a lot of us
I'm just saying that would be adorable and I would love it.
Repetitively. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We would
Okay,
really
so I'm going to transition this discussion a little bit. Still about vulnerability. And I'm going to start with a little bit of a story, and then I'm going to throw it to you guys. So just give me 30 seconds to tell this. But for me, one of the reasons that I got on TikTok at all, and I started going, doing videos, was because I was kind of going through my own shit of dealing with, aging and all the different stuff. And I was very really hard on myself because everything was changing. I was, it was just really weird. And so part of the way I was making myself feel more comfortable with myself was just putting myself out there. No makeup, not worried about my hair, not worried about getting the outfit on, just throwing myself out there whenever I got the mood to talk about something, which sort of got me used to just being real, right? And not trying to put on the show and being comfortable with that. And then we start this project and we're putting ourselves out here all the time. And one of the things I love about us is none of us are that way. None of us are, we have to get all made up and we have to, you know, put on the show and we have to whatever. We say shit all the time that gets us in trouble, and that gets worse every week. And so now we're kind of in that place where there is risk to the authenticity, right? With authenticity comes bullshit a lot of times, and we're learning that lesson. So for you guys, what is it like to be putting yourself, because none of you wanted to do this. I recall all of you saying that you had no interest in putting yourself out there on social media. You were not going to do it. And so it was like, oh, come on. And then you start doing it. So what has this process been for you guys to be your authentic self, put yourself out there, to be watched, to be judged, to be questioned, to be, you know, accused, all this shit that goes with this? And what does that look like going on in the future?
What an excellent question.
I mean, it's better with you guys.
Yeah.
I struggle so bad when I have to film those videos by myself and I have to come up with what I'm going to talk about that day. It's a struggle, but yet that's for a 5-minute video. But yet, do I ever stress before I get on a live for 2 hours and just talk off the cuff with you guys? Never. I never struggle with that. This is where I'm comfortable. And so I think maybe for me, I started off thinking that it was going to be more difficult to do these longer formats, but with you guys, it's easier. I think.
I would agree. I thought the lives were going to be stressful. And it's not like they never have been. They have been occasionally, but very rarely, and not for a long time. It's the other stuff, you know. And I think for me, it's been a figuring out of just being true to my comfort zone. And if I want to do something, if I want to film myself, if I want to do a video, I'll do it. But if I don't, I'm not going to force myself. Because,
Right.
I think even the last video I made, I talked about people who come on social media and force themselves to film content when they don't want to. You can tell.
Totally.
And it's very inauthentic. And that's when people start to wonder, like, well, why are you really doing this? And I mean, like, social media is a monster in and of itself. You can have both good altruistic reasons for doing it that also kind of mesh with, this is kind of how I make my living, so I have to do a little bit of like wagging the dog's tail to make this work. You know, it can go hand in hand sometimes, but it's all about finding that balance between, I would say, responsibility and desire. And and never feeling like you're beholden. Like we do feel a responsibility to our community. I know we do. But we also know that they prefer us to be who we are.
Right.
And if we suddenly started acting like not ourselves, they'd be like,
well, I think that's why we were all so shocked when we started getting shit from people, because we were like, we're just here to have fun. Like, we're not like, you know what I mean? Like, we just never thought we'd be taken that seriously, I don't think, because we're just here having fun and talking about 7 guys we love. Like, who knew that was going to come with what it can come with?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that part, I will admit, like that part was a little bit of a learning curve.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, you don't know what right, but you don't know, you just don't know, you don't know what people's motivations are for doing that, and so it puts you at this at odds, like, you know, was it really something that we could have said better, or was it no matter what we would have said, somebody would have said that anyway? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like it and that's where my overthinking comes in. I'm a terrible overthinker. was there something that we really could have done? And I think as more time goes on, however, real people, meaning real people on the internet who are interested in being authentic, if they really have a problem with you, they'll let you know in a way that's respectful and with their own face, not behind a private account that they created yesterday just to tell us that we're fat.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
And then peace out.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
So, I mean, but the thing is, though, is that we are very mindful of things, and we change course as needed. So, but you know what? I mean, again, I'm talking here like we're the most famous people on the internet. We're not. We're not. FYI. I mean, I'm my mom's favorite creator. Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah.
My mom never
your
misses
mom is
a
your
single
biggest
one
fan,
of my videos.
Right? Yeah.
Although she not
I think
mom.
Your mom is probably all of our biggest
she's
fans.
in the audience right now. Mom, you gotta like, comment, and share my videos, Mom. Come on. Yeah. Every video, Mom.
Come on, you got.
Come on, Mom.
You got.
My mom thinks I'm batshit crazy, but
yeah. But I don't know. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
I think for me, so like one of the things we talked about at the beginning was trying to be authentic, and doing our best to not put on a persona or a shtick or some kind of like facade.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have honestly seemed to hate us because they don't believe that we're being authentic. Like they think that we're a persona. And so a lot of people, it's been surprising how many people over this last almost year who have come at us with this attitude, almost like they're going to prove that our persona is that we're just, fake persona or whatever.
we're hypocrites. We're this,
Right.
we're that.
And yet everybody who's ever come at us with this intent to prove that we're not us or that we're not real or not authentic, that we're just putting on a show of being a bunch of ADHD bitches who love Bangtan, they've all fizzled out because they've realized over time, like you get into our Discord server, we interact the same way we interact on the lives. We interact the same way we interact on our videos. And the 92 people who came to Kansas City realized that the 6 of us bitches are exactly the same in person, just maybe even a little bit louder and a little bit more chaotic.
Yeah.
And we talk over each other just a little bit more. And so like they realized like we're actually toning down our real selves to be, a little bit more under control in these
Trying. Yeah. Some people
but
in
that
the
we're
chat
not
have told
making
us.
ourselves into different people. That, being in the same physical room with us, the same space as us, they realize that they actually are those same fucking people. And so everybody who's ever come at us thinking that they're going to prove our personas are some kind of facade has all fizzled out. And I found it fascinating how many people felt the need to prove that. And it's usually people who they themselves present a persona. It's almost like this weird, I'm gonna prove you're fake because I am.
Right.
And that's been an interesting interaction that I was not expecting going into the project. I wasn't expecting that being authentic, being real, was gonna somehow be misinterpreted as fake in and of itself.
It's triggering. It's triggering some people.
Fascinating.
Which, by the way, we're not saying that there's anything wrong with somebody having a persona or a character that they
Right.
play.
No,
Yeah,
there
no,
are
no,
some
no, no.
content creators that
Yeah.
I fucking love, and I know for a fucking fact it's a
They're playing a
persona.
character.
Right, they're playing a part.
And that's fine because that's how they've built their brand and that's what they do and they're entertaining. And
Well,
there's
let's just face it. None of us are that creative to be able to maintain that type of.
I would say we're creative enough. I
creative
just
enough.
think we were not organized enough.
No, we are not.
Well, I think
No,
that was
they're too lazy.
There's a saying,
requires effort to do a persona.
There's a saying in Spain that I kind of use a lot, which is like lies have very short legs. Because, and I think that when you're putting up a facade and just making up an entire different personality, that's a lie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
exhausting.
and it's not going to be able to kind of run very far. It's going to get caught very, very fast.
I can't lie for
At
shit.
some point.
It's really
My
hard to
take on
keep
this is
lying.
like entirely different because you all know I didn't never wanted to have my face on this.
Yeah.
You all know this.
That's true.
I barely put any videos out because I don't have a lot of things to say. You know, if I say them, I will tell you in person. But like my take on this is like, I decided many years ago that I don't need to put up a show for anybody because the people that like me will stay, and the people that don't like me, there's the door.
Mm-hmm.
You can leave,
Right.
you know?
Well,
And I love myself enough, and playing on something that we've heard a lot from the guys, I love myself enough to not give 2 cents to the people that hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to give them my time. I don't want to give them my attention. I don't want to give them the light of day because they don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk through life
that's a
like
good point.
that, you know, I walk through life like that. I'm myself. You like me? Fine. But, you know, it's like, you don't have to like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't have to. I was fine before.
Yeah.
I'll be fine after.
Well, and let's be so for real. If they can't get a reaction out of us, they'll just move on to the next OT7.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will.
It's-
And that's unfortunate because there's always going to be an OT7 group or project that's under attack by solos and antis because they don't like it. It doesn't fit inside their narrative. It doesn't fit inside their personal style of delulu. And for some reason, instead of putting on together some kind of positive thing that supports their delusions or their views or their approach to buying time, where they made it like just one of them, instead of promoting that and pushing that and getting that popular, their approach is then to attack anybody who goes against it and anybody who goes to 7 and anybody who's trying to promote the group as a whole. And that's just, there's only so much we can do about that, which means that the longer this project goes on, the less fucks I own, because there's no
Field is
fucks.
barren.
They're gone. They've been dispensed. They've been exhausted. And the reality is that has honestly made me a little bit more of an open and honest person in my real life, because as somebody who's neurospicy as fuck, I masked a lot in my real life and in my daily life. And, you know, the longer the project has gone on and the more I've unmasked myself online, the more I've allowed myself to unmask at work. And literally, like, one of the things my patients love the most anymore is that I will literally sit in a visit and I will cross my legs, I will throw a leg up, and I will be like, you know, yeah, I fucking hate that person too. You know, like, they'll be telling me some kind of history and some kind of drama that happened, and I'll be like, for fuck's sake. And they love that because they don't normally get that level of unmasking in what is like a professional situation. And yes, I judge it by patience. I'm not going to say for fuck's sake to the super religious person who gets all offended by that word, but everybody else. But I was afraid to do that before realizing that I lost all my fucks during this project. Because I was afraid that if I showed people who I really am, they wouldn't like me because I'm odd or weird. And you can I think I said those exact words in like my first or second video I ever made for the project was, I didn't want to show my face. I didn't want to put myself out there because I thought people wouldn't like my brand of odd.
Yeah.
But it turns out some people do. And some people enjoy my weirdness and my quirks and my brand of neurospicy. And when I translated that into work, literally my patient population fucking exploded because people started saying to their friends, this doctor is not allowed to say, is not afraid to say, for fuck's sake, and I fucking hate that thing too, and this is stupid, and this is ridiculous, and be authentic with them in the emotions they're feeling, and allowing myself to reveal my neurospicy at work and not be afraid to just say, listen, if I come across the wrong way, just understand, like, I'm spicy as fuck. And they relate to that and they like that. And then they tell their friends who come in. And so for me, the project actually presented itself with like explosion at work itself because I allowed myself to stop masking there. In real
I love that. And I think that your autobiography should be called The Doctor Who Wasn't Afraid to Say Fuck.
I love it.
A story of Pocket Pretzel Doc and how she found it.
I also get pocket pretzels at work, and every time I do, I think of you because you make me a little gift for it.
Yeah, I think that we all like the whole persona idea is something that we all do in just about every part of our life until we realize we don't have to. When you go into a new situation, be it a new job, a new relationship, moving to a new town, like you are not going to necessarily be everything that you are right at once. You come in and you get the lay of the land first and you figure out like, okay, what's going on here? And you find out like, once you get your feet under you, so to speak, and you find your people and, or like, you know, you feel comfortable, that's when we start to let our personas go. That's when we let that mask drop and we start showing people are weird again. And so I think social media is a lot like that in a way. And this project has been really great for allowing us to explore the more like authentic yet uncomfortable at times parts of ourselves and put them out there for people to see and to understand and to relate to and to enjoy. And in turn, I think it's helped me enjoy myself more, even when I'm not feeling my best or I'm going through a rough time, knowing that there are people out there that get me and appreciate me, even when I feel like I'm not doing a whole hell of a lot. There are people out there who think that I am, and they're appreciative of it, and they give back what I'm giving to them and what we're all giving to them. And that's the most rewarding part about not adopting a persona and allowing myself to be seen on the internet in this way repeatedly for just anyone to stroll on through and take a snapshot of. That's the most rewarding part, is the people who get us that way. Allow us this space to feel safe because we give it back. It's this wonderful symbiosis.
It's like Sunday nights are like the night for me that I'm like meeting with people that I really love and appreciate, like my friends, and I'm hanging out and I'm talking about my favorite thing. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
Like the best thing ever.
Basically.
I didn't have that for years in my life. So, you know, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I think that the price that we pay is a small one.
Yeah. I mean, it's, if you look, are you talking about like any hate that we've gotten?
Yeah, because we've already kind of mentioned it. Insofar as the downside. And at times it is a downside. When we came out of the gate with this project, like we got hit hard with people that just tried to tank us immediately. Like, oh no, we don't like this. No. And it was tough. It was like we didn't know what we were doing. We were a lot more sensitive. And we were like freshly burned. And so the fact that like we didn't fold then still surprises the hell out of me to this day. I honestly,
it was the love of Bonton.
Well, I think had any of us been alone, we probably would have, but we had the group.
True.
Yes, and it was us having each other and pure spite.
Totally.
I feel like the first 3 months of this project, maybe 4, when all the attack was coming and all the hate from multiple directions for no fucking reason, I think that was when I lost all my fucks. So by the time we reached the point where the Twitter people, like the solos and the antis and stuff, are like calling us old and fat and hags and all this other shit. Like, my butt's like long gone because we got attacked so fucking hard at the beginning. So hard.
Yeah,
that,
and
like,
those
now it's just more entertaining.
Right. Well, and remember too, the attacks in the beginning were from actual real people that we knew. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like they were,
which made it very much more difficult.
So they weren't. It wasn't right. It wasn't.
It was a lot more personal. It was a lot.
It wasn't Jungkook's left nut.
Yeah, it was Jungkook's left nut.
Old account from Jungkook's left nut calling us fat, and that's like one day old in private. Like, that hits a lot different than somebody you physically knew who decided to create chaos for you.
Yeah.
So
it
is different.
Yeah, and so the fact that we didn't fold then, like, the shit that we're getting now is nothing. Literally nothing. Yeah, it annoys us. It annoys us at times, and people do still say hateful things, and it's not like we're like completely impervious, but like they're like flies. Yeah, they're like mosquitoes.
Well, maybe if they bothered to make a logical, intelligent argument over shit that we actually said or did, I would care a little bit more.
It would carry more weight.
That's
But
true.
I think that for us,
Yeah.
if you think about it, the light is brighter than the dark. Like, the good things that we get out of this, 10,000 more than all the stupid dark stuff that can come our way.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that BTS feels the same way.
Totally.
Not to compare.
Well,
us
and the fact that
to-
in our authenticity, they're attacking really our authenticity, and they're doing it, like Christina said, from a private account
yeah,
that they created the day fucking before, so they could come
That has no
and call us
picture.
names, and it's like, okay, I feel a little August D right now. I feel a little like, okay, yeah, right. I mean, come on. But at the same time, we're human, but still, it's just funny. It's just,
exactly.
it's just something that I think, I have a very big imagination, and in all of my imagination and everything that was going, that's the part of it I never, you don't think about that part of it. And so I would rather be, and it's funny because if you're going to come at us for being ugly, hags, fat, whatever, it's kind of like, well, at least you're not coming at me saying, I'm a fake. I mean, I'd rather be those things than you come at me and say I'm a fake. I'm not a true fan. I'm not a whatever, because you could never say that about us. I mean, we just are who we are,
But also, don't you think that if we were 15-year-olds, it would hurt more? I think it would.
Yeah.
It would hurt more, but we would also have a whole lot less interesting things to say. God, who
Right.
would
Probably.
every week?
Right.
It's almost like the more mature and the older you are is actually sort of a strength in this day and age, in this fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was thinking about it because, like, part of why I think we don't care as much, not care, that's a bad way of saying it. Part of why I think that we can let it roll off of our backs as much as we do is because we are all of an age where we remember, like, not social media, like, not being a thing. And, like, even like the internet not even really being like that big of a thing. Like, I mean, I had it when I was a teenager and I used the internet, but like social media wasn't a thing. And so we know both sides of the coin, and like ultimately, like, life exists outside of social media, and it's not the end all be all. It is a great tool, but it's not real life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It can help us, like, obviously it's helped us to create this wonderful community, so it's important to us, but once you create the community and you have the people, like we've obviously, a lot of us have connected in real life as well. So like you don't have to just rely on, like, it's not just what you're seeing on your screen. Like if there's more there, there's going to be more there. And I think that we know the importance of that. And it might be something that's not as, it's not as readily accepted or thought about. Maybe it's not as readily thought about as people who are like much younger than we are.
I mean, it's also, I think that after you turn a certain age, there are things that you really cared about when you were younger that you don't care anymore. Like you don't give two shits.
Well, you've lived life and you've experienced real shit. So it's like manufactured shit's not gonna, you know.
Exactly, because I mean, it's like we all have certain years on our back, and we have lived through certain things, and we have learned. Thankfully, some people never learn.
And it's not to talk down on young people. It's just a fact. Like when you've lived longer, you've experienced more things.
Exactly.
You have more knowledge and experience under your belt.
For me, turning 40, turning 50 has been such a liberation, because they're like things that I really worried me when I was in my 20s and in my 30s that I don't give about anymore. And a lot of it is like what I said before. If you don't like me, you don't have to like me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, you know?
And I hear BTS need a lot of these things. Sorry, go ahead, Dom.
The realization, based on what Patricia just said, is one of the things you realize when you age, as you get older, is I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't have to be.
Right.
I do not have to fit into the perfect mold for everybody, everywhere, at all times. And when we're younger, we think that this is like a thing. Somehow it is insulting to tell somebody, I don't like you, and they're going to be devastated and hurt over it. And as you age, you realize it's not possible to be liked by everybody, because, oh, newsflash, I don't like everybody.
I don't like everybody.
If I don't like everybody I meet in my life, then why would I think everybody I meet would like me? And somehow it's a bad thing if they don't.
Right.
It's not a bad thing. It's just an is. You're not everybody's cup of tea, and you don't have to be.
Yeah. Why do you think I sent you guys that TikTok where that lady goes?
That was awesome.
Where she says, if the shitty people don't hate you, then what the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
Right? If you haven't gathered at least a few enemies along the way, are you even really living?
You're not living authentically is what you're not doing.
And
If
I
you have
think,
not gained enemies along the way from shitty people, then you are not living authentically.
yeah. And I think that we are seeing a lot of this same we're starting to see a lot of the same attitude in BTS members. They've said a lot of these things. Like, I mean, I literally can hear Yoongi in my head saying, you don't like us, that's fine. You want to go somewhere else? That's JK said, you want to go listen to other groups? Fine, go. You do you.
Go in peace. Go.
Yeah, like that. And I think it's only going to increase. I'm here for them just moving into their 30s. And I can't wait to hear them as they keep getting older and, you know, just saying all these same things and having far less fucks to give. Like, obviously, I think they're always going to care about ARMY, but they're not going to care about the people who don't. I don't want to use the word deserve, but I think you know what I mean when I say that. Like the people who show them that they want to be respected and they respect in return, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think we can care about the people who don't respect them.
Yeah.
No.
I think that is a really good point we're at 8:00. I think that's a really good point to
Yeah. Before we go though, we do have a couple of reminders. But yeah, that was a great talk, you guys. That was great.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who joined.
Everybody enjoyed. We enjoyed all the comments too. You guys are really awesome about giving us new ideas to think about. So reminders about our watch parties in Discord. We always have a lot of stuff going on. We have an events tab in our Discord that tells you exactly when all of the watch parties are. Bear with us here in the US. We just went through daylight savings time. And so Discord's a little confused right now, but Katie's working on it.
Yeah.
So some of the events might be a little wonky, but it should even itself out soon. And if you sign up to be interested in an event, it will tell you when it is happening in your time zone. We do everything in Eastern Standard because that's like standard for the US, and a lot of us are in that time zone. Like 3 of us are in that time zone. So we tend to go with that, but it will convert for you. We have our weekly content watch party every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. We've got bi-weekly Friday watch parties with Patricia. It was for Run Jin, but now it's going to be for...
I think we might do movie night, but we'll see. We'll see.
TBD. Sign up, show up. You never know what's going to happen. We've got Monday watch parties as well.
Yeah.
With Patricia and Shells. It's Jenny's Kitchen right now. And Europe does their own watch parties. It's daytime for us, but it's evening time for them. And hosted by, we've got Lori and Viv and Morgan. They host various things throughout the week. So come and sign up, hang out with us in the Discord. We also have the Bora Lounge where we hang out, like just shooting the shit sometimes. You never know who's going to be in there. We've got our study hall. If you want to hang out and work and have people keep you company, we've got that. Before I move on to the blog, yes, Doc?
For those of you who are new to the Discord or haven't searched it very much, if you want to make sure that your time zone is correct or that you get notified for things you're interested in, please go over to the Rules and Roles tab. So if you go into Rules and Roles, that is where you can select your time zone. That is where you can select your region. That is where you can tell us whether you're interested in being notified if there's streaming and charting things, if you want to be notified if there's events, things like that. And if you click things that you're interested in being notified in the Rules and Roles as well as your time zone, then you will get all those notifications as they are appropriate to you. So not everybody's going to get pinged if there's something put in the streaming and charting section that's like an at here, but anybody who is asked to get pinged will. And so it's a good way of making sure that you stay on top of what you're interested in inside of the server and not the things you are not interested. That is also the location where you can change the color of your username to be one of the member mic names or purple for all 7. It is where you can choose your bias. Your preferred pronouns can be chosen there as well. And so we do pay attention to what rules and roles are applied to people when we interact with you on the server, especially preferred pronouns. We try to make it as much of a safe space as possible. And so please tell us how you want people to interact with you by choosing your rules and roles, and we try to do our best to make sure you're feeling loved and included in the server.
Yes. Yes. Doc did mention it, but we do have our voting and streaming channel. You can find lots of info there for all of your voting and streaming needs. And Christina is working on a page for our on our website.
I totally am.
Go for it, Christina.
No, I totally am.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of our project members are helping her. They are very active in our streaming channel, and they provide a lot of info for us in our community about where to go to vote for things and how to properly stream. And so we've been asked a lot. Even though we're not a streaming project, we obviously support streaming all the members in all their releases. So we are working, Christina's working on that streaming guide to put on our website for those people who are not in our Discord server to also have
I
those.
will plumb the depths of Twitter X to bring you the best information.
The bells.
Yes, one of the things that kind of ties into is we already do have a blog post dedicated to purchasing guides. So
Right.
when it comes to, so Katie wrote that when news was being released as a way of knowing if I buy it from Target or Walmart or Weverse Global or Weverse, what does it count for? What does it mean? Where are the ways to do an album that will impact whatever chart you want to impact the best? And there is a post on our blog, Katie wrote it, that gives you a guideline for how to purchase depending on the impact you personally want to have.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Yep. And so, final reminder tonight, the blog. We got that going on,
The
y'all.
reason we're all here in the first place.
The reason we're here. The reason for the season. y'all.
We have a blog.
The reason for the season. We talked, we had a lovely discussion, which wrapped up, I think, week 43 that we're wrapping up tonight, our OT7 content as we conclude the Proof album. We are moving into our solo months, where we are covering chapter 2 and all of the solo projects that were released so far and as we were going in chapter 2. And we are going in fan chant order. We will be reminding you guys of this every single time we go live because we know what's going to happen. Because we are about to be talking about Namjoon a lot for the next 4 weeks because it is Namvember.
Yeah.
He's our leader and the fan chant starts with him. And so when we get people coming up in here and being like, why are you only talking about Namjoon? Why don't you support all the other members? Please remind us we will remind you guys that this is how we are spacing out the project. And so each member is getting a solo month and we are going in fan chant order. So
Make a sign.
I'm just gonna hold a sign up like this.
it is so next week, week 44 is dropping at midnight Eastern time tonight, and it is week 1 of November. And I gotta tell you guys, it was both crazy, but it was also fun to go all the way back to the beginning again. And Doc and I talked about this the other night in the watch party. When we were talking about how this got set up at the beginning and how we kind of went back and forth about whether or not we were going to intersperse the solo stuff chronologically, like when it happened, or if we were going to separate it out like we ultimately decided to do. What decision was best? Apples and oranges. But we thought that if we tried to intersperse it, it would be a little too confusing. It would be like whiplash, like solo, BTS, which to be fair, they've given us whiplash all on their own, but we're trying to be a little kinder. You know?
Think of you guys.
Yeah. So we thought it would be easier and more fulfilling and rewarding to cover it all at once. Because also, I don't know that I've seen something else out there doing kind of the same thing. So this is a little bit of I feel like I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything. So yeah, we're all about the disclaimers now. We live a disclaimer. So yeah, November is getting ready to start at midnight tonight. It was amazing to go back to the beginning, and it's to look at each member from the beginning to where they are now is going to be so amazing. It's going to be rewarding. And I think it's something that, like, I don't know that a lot of us have really done. And I think it's just going back and looking at Namjoon in earlier than 2013. We're talking like 2007, like looking at Namjoon that age and just coming out of that, it is wild. So I hope everybody enjoys it. We again, of course, we'll have our weekly watch party next week where we'll discuss, but that's coming at midnight. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's called,
and guess what?
Yeah.
If you go ahead.
It's called A Storm Is Coming.
And if you hang with us through all 7 months, guess what it'll be by the time we finish Jungkook's month? It'll be June 2025, baby.
And they'll be
And
back.
then all
They'll be
7 will be back.
Yep. Midnight
So-
tonight.
Stick with us.
One more quick thing real fast. Leslie did a very special Ask AP529 for me. And it's going to be post, I believe, this week. And it's going to be all talking about Weverse and memberships and how that whole thing works. She did a great job on it. I get a lot of questions on that on TikTok. So be on the lookout for that.
Will probably be later this week.
Yeah, later this week. Yep.
Yeah. But it will be coming soon. The
We also
membership
have,
guide.
before that, Patricia's next Young blog. I'm almost done editing it. Patricia's next blog on Carl Jung as it relates to the Map of the Soul series will be dropping first early this week. So fun.
And I'm
lots of fun
doing
stuff
the
coming.
third part. The
Yes.
third part of it.
Yes. The second part is about to drop. She's working on the third. Yeah.
Look at us go. Look at us
Two
go.
of my favorite songs, Shadow and Black Swan. That's the third part that I'm working on right now.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Truly, we love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the questions and the comments and the lay hagging. Genius.
And you are our
Black
cups of tea. You are our cups of tea. Remember that.
Cups of tea.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
cute. All right.
We move our little hag squad over here. It's great.
I know.
Peace out.
Yep.
We will see you guys Wednesday night on the project TikTok.
Come hack with us.
Come yeah.
Yeah, come on, we will be giving you more in-depth news and whatever week tea happens to happen this week. So
It always does. So I'm sure we'll have something.
Never
we
know.
always have somebody who will only listen to like 30 seconds of the live, change your words all completely, and go start some fights over on some other app. Because they never pay attention to the fact that we upload our lives in entirety on the YouTube within a few days. And so anything they say can be fact checked later. They don't care. They're still going to make some shit up. It's fine. It's
fine. Sounds like a lot of work.
Everything's fine.
Making shit up. It's
Imagination.
fine. It's fine. And then they'll get talked about in our week tea. It'll be great.
Yep. It'll be fantastic.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Get your extra hour of sleep, everybody.
Yes.
Love
Enjoy
ya.
your
Bye, everybody. Later.
Bye.